Hey guys, welcome to Tracy's Tuesday Talks. I am your hostess, Tracy Latona with Golden Rose Financial Coaching. I'm so glad you're here today. Just real quick, housekeeping. If you enjoy this video, please like, subscribe, and share, and get the word out about Tracy's Tuesday Talks to help fight the insanity of financial stress and some mindset topics. And today's topic is actually pretty heavy. I keep hearing the F word a lot lately. And no, it's not the F bomb, but the word failure. So today's Tracy's Tuesday Talks is on the mindset of failure. So let's buckle up and dig right into it. So the definition of failure is a lack of success or inability to meet an expectation. Failure is defined as a lack of success or an inability to meet an expectation. A lot of people have fear of failure. They pause, they don't try something with their full heart because they're afraid of failing. Failure is often tied to somebody's identity, self-esteem, self-confidence, or can lead to a sense of perfectionism. If there's any fear of failure, if they don't get it perfect the first time, then they're not going to try it. They're super hard on themselves. So what ends up happening is they don't end up trying at all because they are afraid of that failure. A lot of people who struggle with failure were never allowed to fail as a kid, as an employee, as a spouse, as a caregiver, or in any other role that they might have as a person. So remember that the fear of that failure is just a lack of success or an ability to meet an expectation. Failure is something that it's part of life, but I want to dig into the psychology of failure. So these are some notes from Dr. John Deloney that I took at a conference where I heard him speak. And fear or fear of failure kicks in the fight, flight, or freeze response. If there's a fear of failure, your brain will ask, am I safe? Meaning, is there stress? Or does your brain perceive a threat with the obstacle that failure might happen? Do I belong? Where's my tribe? If I fail, will I lose my tribe or will I lose my sense of belonging? And then third, the brain asks, does this feel good? Does this hurt or is it going to be painful? Fear of failure can be tied to that as well. And these three things, am I safe, do I belong, and does this feel good, are often tied to procrastination, which is caused by the fight, flight, or freeze mode that the brain asks, or that happens in the brain when the brain asks itself these questions. And procrastination can feel like failure. So what do we do about it? If failure is so tied into our brain chemistry or our history or past traumas that have happened or unmet expectations or perfectionism, how do we deal with that? How do we handle failure? This next part comes from Dr. John Maxwell. And this was very powerful and impactful for me. So this actually reframed failure for me. Dr. John Maxwell says, have a return on your failure. You will have good misses and bad misses. And he talks about the cycle of success. So a lot of people think that the opposite of success is failure. So if you failed, you're not successful. And if you're not successful, then those three things that the brain asks itself are not met. But however, what if you reframed it as failure being part of the cycle of success? So there's 5 steps in the cycle of success. And the first one is test. When you're facing an obstacle where there is potential for failure, know that there's an answer. Know that there's typically more than one answer. Think about this in your finances. If you're feeling like you're failing in your finances, test things out. Try something that's new, like a new budgeting app or an Excel spreadsheet or a new method of handling your finances. Try something that's different, breaking the cycle of what you've been doing time and time again that is causing what feels like failure, and do something that can work. Find something that you know is going to work for you. So the first step in the cycle of success is testing. The second step in the cycle of success is, you guessed it, the big F word, failure. It takes 3 months, for example, when it comes to finances, for somebody to really get the hang of budgeting, 90 days for somebody to really learn what it takes, and 90 days for it to really start kicking into where it becomes easier, for it to become a habit. So failure, get competent at failure. Don't just say, oh, I failed, and then walk away and just leave it at that. But get your failure rate up, because that means that you're testing things, you're trying new things, you're trying a new project at work, you're trying something different in your finances. The third step is learn. So if you didn't have success, or you didn't meet an expectation and quote unquote failed, learn something good from the experience. What worked? What didn't work? How can you build a framework to be able to move forward? So that leads us to step number 4, which is improvement. Improvement is the fruit of learning. So don't go back into the cycle until you have learned and have put something in place to improve. So for example, let's just say you blew your grocery budget. Ooh, that never happens to anybody. It happens often. How can you improve on that? Can you try a new grocery store? Can you make more food at home and eat out less? Can you start meal prepping and meal planning? Learning new things and put a system in place to improve from missing that expectation. And then finally, once you have improved, and only once you have put a new system or framework to improve in place, that is when you get to go back through the cycle of success and test, fail, learn, prove, and re-enter all over again. You do not re-enter the cycle of success directly after failure. Otherwise, you're doing what Einstein calls the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So if you get knocked down, ask yourself, what happens? Why did it happen? Don't jump back in until you figure it out and improve. Failure is not the end of life. Failure is not the end of anything. Failure is a part of success. And if you feel like you failed somewhere, especially in your finances, reach out to somebody. I would be honored to have a conversation with you. Part of what helps failure hurt less and helps failure become successful is accountability. Accountability was a topic that I did a few weeks ago on Tracy's Tuesday Talks. I encourage you to go look it up. It's a great one. And accountability can help really zone in on that failure or perceived failure and really help you get to where you feel and are successful, especially when it comes to your finances. So please click on the link to schedule your complimentary financial consultation. I'd love to see where you are presently and where you'd like to be that you aren't right now, and see how we can get you there using that cycle of success. Thank you so much, guys. I hope this was helpful. Have a blessed day. I'll see you next week.